Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Listen, we're talking to you guys today about why men are frustrated with therapy. Why do men get to a place where they get to frustrated and they want to quit therapy? I had one of my therapy sessions on Monday, and I want to tell you, it was stressful. I can't lie to you. I had a moment to myself where I was like, you know what? This really is stressful, and I want to quit. And that's coming from somebody who does his work a lot of times, that coaches people a lot of times. I was ready to quit. Can't lie to you. Second week into my therapy session, I said, I want to quit. I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting annoyed. She's not understanding what I'm trying to say. I'm not understanding what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm not getting a resolution here. I got to a place where I was frustrated with therapy. And so it gave me a little bit more insight, like a little revelation and a bubble as to why I believe that a lot of men won't go to therapy, and why a lot of men also too, when they're in therapy, might quit earlier than they actually need to. And so hopefully I'll be able to give you guys a little bit more of an insight, some answers. I'm sure for the ladies too, if you're listening, this will also help you guys as ladies as well. But whether you're joining us, whether it's from Insta, whether it's from LinkedIn, whether it's from Facebook, whether it's from Twitter, YouTube, we appreciate you guys being here and joining in this conversation. Why is it that men get frustrated with therapy and quit? I'm gonna give you the answers for that. But before I do, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notifications of the uploads as well. Here on this channel, we like to educate and entertain. All right, some days we're therapy, some days we're here with reality TV. Okay, so don't be frustrated. Don't leave us too soon. We've got a lot of content for you guys to help learn, grow, and develop you going forward as well. Okay. And as you can see at the bottom of the screen, we'd love for you guys to join the membership. It's £1 or $1. If you're on YouTube, you can join it by pressing the plus button and joining the membership. We have a membership next live next Tuesday, and we'll be having one of our great conversations between the members only as well. You can also join our Patreon if you like reality TV and want to have those discussions. Join our Patreon. It's a link in the description. And also we have merchandise that you guys should also join called Mineral Gang. All right, let's get into this conversation because I've got about half an hour and I want to make it nice and short. All right, why is it that men become frustrated with therapy and want to quit? Well, if you've been watching us for the past 7 episodes, you know I got to tell you a story first before we break it all the way down. My story here starts off here. Okay, I was in therapy on Monday. I was having a session with my counselor, and we were talking about selfishness. I was telling her about, I went recently to see my grandma. One of my uncles passed away recently, so I went to see my grandma, and my uncle and my dad were telling me thank you for going over there and showing out and being present in the moment. Yesterday we spoke about presence and why men struggle to be present. Today we're talking about frustrations with therapy, and once they said to me, "Oh, thank you for being present and being there. You can see how much of an impact it's made on your grandma and the family." I was like, "Great, fantastic." So obviously, when I came to my therapist on Monday, I'm like discussing it and saying, "Do you know what? I really want to discuss why I didn't feel like my presence was important." And in amongst that, one of the conversations we ended up having was going back to a point of origin. And the point of origin was in my childhood being told by my African parents, hey, be content, be grateful, be appreciative of where you are right now, even when it doesn't benefit you. Like if you're eating your food and you don't finish the food, they're like, hey, I know you didn't finish the food, but someone in Africa is not eating right now. Hey, I know you complaining about your shoes that you don't really like, but just know in Africa, someone hasn't got shoes. There always was a response to why you couldn't complain. And eventually what actually happened is I learned how to stop complaining. I learned to be quote unquote more grateful or more content. But I also lost my voice, right? In amongst that. Now, as I'm having this therapy session and I'm telling her I feel guilty at sometimes, like I find it very hard to put myself first. I feel this guilt. She's obviously now trying to make the links between the childhood story that I told her and the link between being selfish and feeling guilty, not putting myself first. Okay. Now, as I was in that space and I'm trying to, talk about it, she's making that link in my head, objectively, knowing what I know she's making a link, and it probably is a really good link objectively. But some of our first session and even part of the second session, I had light bulb moments. I call these revelatory moments. Okay, all right. And unfortunately, having these revelatory moments, it gives you a sense of, oh, I get it, I understand. Boom. That makes sense. Da-da-da-da-da. But I didn't get that in that moment. When she was explaining the link between parents saying about Africa and da-da-da-da-da, not putting yourself first, there was no link being made. Objectively, I could see it. But emotionally, mentally, it becoming my truth and it being a revelatory moment like, oh my God, yes, that makes sense. It wasn't popping. It wasn't working. And it wasn't going off. The lights were firmly off. Okay? So in that, now we got to talk about the feelings in that moment. When the lights were off, and the lights wouldn't switch on, the electricity wasn't flowing, and it wasn't making sense to me objectively. What was about my feelings in that immediate moment? I was frustrated. I was angry. I was annoyed. I was pissed. And I said to her, your finger's not hitting. Your questions are not hitting. I said, I don't know if it's you or it's me. Maybe I need to ask, maybe I need to give you another story. That was my thing. I said, maybe I need to give you another story so you can link it to where I am today. Because you know, guys, if you watch my YouTube channel, you know it's all about dealing with the root cause and the present day. If you're dealing with today, we must deal with the root cause. So for me personally, I'm looking at it now and I'm frustrated. I'm like, this is annoying because why is it not linking? Why is it not linking? Why is it not making sense? Why is it not connecting? Why is it that why is it that in this moment the light bulb is not going off? I know what you're saying objectively makes sense, but when I look at it from a truth perspective, it's not clicking. So I said, listen, maybe I need to give you another story. I said, I'm not about to waste my 45 minutes here. Baby, I'm paying 50, 60 quid a session. We gonna get this answer. Okay, let me not jump ahead of myself. So as we say, we always put the origin, our feelings, and then we talk about why that feeling comes about. The reason why I was frustrated and annoyed and angry at the moment is because I wanted to solve the problem. I wanted the issue to be solved. I wanted there to be a solution at the end of this episode, because we're 30 minutes in, and I'm like, we got over 15 minutes. This needs to be solved. We ain't gonna leave here and hey, I can't waste my money. I need to get to the next chapter. You know what I mean? Every session is going to be a new story. So my friend, please find a way to get the answer through, right? So I felt this discomfort because I know that therapy works, right? I know it works because I coach other people, right? But in my head, I'm like, yo, I know this works, but this needs to work right now, okay? Because you ain't about to waste my money, okay? All right? This needs to go through. Okay, so that was why I was feeling those feelings. It's because I'm like, my money's being spent, and I'm not getting any solutions at the end of this. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste my money. Okay, all right. Now, as a result, I started looking annoyed. I sat there and I was like, I'm just getting pissed. I'm running in my head. I'm like, maybe I got a wrong story. Maybe I need to give a different story because this ain't popping. It's not hitting. And I'm like, yo, I need to find a way to get through. Okay, I need to find a way of this getting through. This ain't hidden. This is not revelatory, darling. This is not revelatory. Okay, we need to speed this up. Yeah, we need to speed this up. Godspeed, sis. I don't know what you need to say. I was like in my head. What I was saying to her, and I think I said to her, I said the analogy is not hitting. It's just not hitting. It's not, like your analogy makes sense. And what you're tying it to, but it's not hitting. So it's not going in deep. Yeah? You got a little bud in the soil and you put a little water on it, but the roots are not gone deep yet. Okay. All right. So I'm just like looking at it like, I need you to open me up. Okay? Open me up. Okay? That's what I need you to. I need you to, you know what I mean? Yeah? So I was there. Now, the behavior. Here's where I would say my behavior might be slightly different to why men quit, right? But my behavior was I was willing to dig in, right? I done spent the money, I'm digging in, okay? We can't afford not to quit. We gonna dig in. And I'm going back for week 3, okay? Right? Because I know that obviously nothing can be solved all at once, okay? I'm being a little bit impatient. I know my behavior's being impatient. I know I'm being a little bit, I know it wasn't, I want it to accelerate, but I know that you can't rush things, right? But I'm digging in, okay? I'm digging in, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I'm open. Okay, I'm trying to let it sink. I'm open, baby. Okay, I'm not even closed off. But yeah, I dug in. But I immediate moment, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think about quitting, but I understood why someone would quit. Right? Because I have experience of coaching other people, I can understand from a perspective of why I wouldn't quit because I know this works. But if you've never gone to therapy and then someone says go to therapy and then you go to therapy and maybe in your second session or your third session or your fourth session, suddenly you hit this brick wall. It's a bit like going to the gym. Look, many of us go to the gym, many men go to the gym, right? But not every man makes a good body in the gym. And I'll tell you why they don't make a good body in the gym. Many men and women, by the way, they get to a place where they look in the mirror and after a few sessions in the gym, they're like, why is my body not changed? Oh, baby, don't you realize that it's working underneath? You know, the Bible says that, we should work out our salvation with fear and trembling. And what working out means, it means work out so you can show the muscles. Because those muscles are being built, they're being torn, they're being built, but they don't show out until a period of time. When your diet is good, or not even say diet, but when your output versus input begins to differ, when you start to spend time and losing the weight, okay? All right. So what you realize is that a lot of people quit the gym early because they don't see the results that they want straight away. They're not seeing muscle definition. They're not seeing loss of weight. They're not seeing their body in a particular shape, right? And that can be very difficult for people because they're like, I've been working out for a whole week and nothing has changed, because we want instant results. And that's how I felt in therapy. Now, unless someone tells you and says, hey, when you go to the gym, I want to let you know the first few weeks you ain't gonna see nothing. Before you get to the fourth week or fifth week, I'm telling you, it's just gonna go bam. You won't even realize you're growing. And for a lot of men, I think, don't get told the extra part. We need to let them know. Listen, hey, look, it can be a slow burner. You ain't gonna go in there automatically and start telling your story, and it's gonna suddenly fix every situation that you've had in your entire life. You're gonna need some time to build that up. Right? You're going to need some time to get to a place where you're able to trust the therapist enough to really share some of your thoughts. It's going to take some time to get to a place where certain solutions are being offered to you, but it's not sinking in yet because you haven't got the mind yet. The soil is not ready to receive that word just yet. In fact, it's biblical when we talk about the fact that Mark 4 talks about the parable of the sower and the seed. And when they sow the seed, not every ground is fertile. Not every ground is ready. So when you put the word in there and then it puts it into that soil, if that soil is not ready to receive that word, unfortunately, even though you really want it, it's not ready yet. And sometimes that's life. Sometimes things happen and it's like you're not fully ready for that thing. So it doesn't germinate the way that you want it to germinate, right? We've all been there. And then later on it clicks and suddenly it makes sense. It's a bit like when your parent tells you something as a young child. Many of us have been there when you're young kids. Your parent tells you something and says, oh, don't do this because da 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 da. And you're like, okay, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And you think you know better than them. Then one day, boo, it just makes sense. You're like, you know what? My parents are right. I ain't gonna argue them again. You're absolutely right. Damn, they were right. It hits you. And sometimes there needs to be space for that. But it's very hard because we want answers, especially as men. We want answers. Not only do we want answers, we want solutions. Solutions that work and solutions that hit automatically. We want solutions that automatically make sense. We want solutions that automatically go through. We want solutions that when we initiate those solutions, my life is changing. My life has never been the same, 'cause my therapist came and changed the way I walk, the way I talk, 'cause I cannot explain the things. You know what I mean? So now you want to change that. All right? So I felt those feelings in that immediate moment. I can't lie to you, I was frustrated. I said, don't waste my money and don't waste my time. Solve this issue right now. Okay? It will probably sink in a little bit later on as well, right? So now, the problems that arise from this situation, right, is this. I think personally as well, right, because some of the things that she was talking about, the speed of your... I had a client that I was dealing with, and she might be here, I don't know, but I had a client that I was dealing with when I was coaching her, and I said to her, the speed that you've taken to the coaching and made sense of what's happening to you is because you're in the right time, right season, and the right resources. The soil is absolutely fertile and ready to hear this word. So you're going to go because you're in the right place, right time, right season. The word is correct for that season. You're just going to, right? Some of us don't have the right soil because we don't have the right knowledge, nor do you have the right understanding. Some of us don't even understand what emotions are. And do you think you're going to solve your issue tomorrow? Some of you don't even, beyond anger, you don't know what any other emotions are. Beyond the 6, anger, sadness, grief, joy, what's the other one? There's another 2. Surprise, I think it is. And there's one more. Fear, right? Beyond those feelings, you don't know anything else. You need a good palette of emotional understanding to really progress, because you need to be able to understand how you actually feel, right? And a lot of these instances to do some of the healing work. So knowledge is oftentimes, I think, a big thing, right? Knowledge is a huge thing that we actually need in order to progress and able to have a speedy moving through. Knowledge really does help. And I think sometimes, well, we don't have that basis sometimes as men to do that. And that will mean also doing some homework. Therapy is not your only, the problem is that people think therapy solves everything. Therapy is like school. Remember these people who go to school? You know, some people, and look, one thing you can never do is compare yourself to somebody else. Okay? Remember we used to go to school and there was that one student that doesn't pay attention in class, but somehow they always pass the exam. Yeah, you can't compare yourself to that person. Okay? And there was 2 types of that person. There's 2 types. There's one person who doesn't pay attention in school, messes around, moves mad, but passes all the exams. They're just too bright. They're just a smart person. Then there's the other one who messes around, moves mad in school, but goes home and studies. You're not the person either, okay? And there's the rest of us who, when we go home, when we do school, we listen well, we pass exams. Then there's another person who listens well, but goes home, doesn't do any extra, and they need the extra in order to retain some of the information. They don't pass the exam. There's a need for after work also. You cannot rely only on your therapist. Right? You cannot rely on your therapist to solve all the issues, because she's actually saying that you have the answers. So there's a need for you to do some backup work after, to go alone and say, actually, I'm going to do some serious work by myself, and I'm going to really work it out, and I'm going to sit with it and just marinate on it. This is also partly why I'm doing these videos, because it helps me to marinate on some of the issues and really work it out. And really kind of like delve deep into it as well, and hopefully bring about a new answer for myself. You know, because as you teach, you get taught as well, right? Problem number 2, I think, also is that patience runs out, and if we don't see the muscles coming out, you know, patience runs out when we don't see the results that we want. I think a lot of times people quit the therapy because their patience has run thin, because they were looking for a microwave answer and solution to their problem, not knowing that good food needs to be cooked slow. Woo! Y'all know. Okay, we black, so we know. And anybody watching on LinkedIn, if you're not black, don't worry. Just stick with us, okay? Good food needs time to be marinated and cooked thoroughly well. Okay? Some of the best meals take time to cook and take time to prepare, right? That length of time that we take to cook that meal, when you sit down and you chow that meal, is a different type of meal. Now, you could get the instant gratification and get your microwave meal and pop it in the microwave, and you sit down and you eat, and it will fill you with the food that you need in that moment. Yeah, you'll have some nutrients, and yeah, you'll have the satisfaction of eating food right there. But we all know, as black folk, that when you cook food and it marinates and it's stewed well, and you sit down and you smell the aromas, and you smell the flavors and the spices, and your fork finally touches the plate and you see the meats just falling off the bones, okay, right? You can't compare that to the meal that you just put in the microwave. The two are different. And the feeling and the gratification you get from having patience in waiting. Even the Bible talks about this in James. It talks about how we go through trials and tribulations to increase our patience and our endurance. There's a blessing in having to go through something, and it takes its time to marinate to get to the other side. And a lot of us, including myself, want to hurry up and get through it. We do. It's too painful sometimes to sit there and go through it. Man, I was like, therapist, if you don't hurry up and work this out, we're going to have problems. It's 45 minutes, 50 quid is going down the drain. I need you to solve this issue. Use another analogy. It's not working, that one. You know? I use another analogy because it's not working. That's what I was telling her. It's not hitting, right? That's important. So patience has to be there, and the problem is a lot of people don't have patience in doing so. Okay, and that can be it. So that's my thing here. Why men don't get frustrated and quit therapy? I really feel it's because of like a lack of knowledge and a lack of patience, but also a lack of work after. You need to do some work after. There is some work that needs to be done after. That means practical work, putting in the effort to make sure that you're changing things in the way you interact with people around you. No, everyone else, the world is not going to change. You need to change, and the world will change in accordance to the way that you interact with the world. You know what I'm saying to you? But it was a great moment for me, objectively, to see it, because I was like, this is what frustration looks like for men. This is what we look like. This is what we feel like. This is what it is when you are in a place where you are frustrated. I get it now, you know? So any men out there, if you're thinking about getting into therapy, I want to let you know that it's good for you, but I want to let you know there's after work that needs to be done. I want to let you know that it's good to read as well. I want to let you know that, listen, also that you're going to need patience, that it's not all going to come at once, all right? It takes this beautiful time to get to that place. But I'm going to love you and leave you guys. You know, that's me done for this one. I said it will be a nice and slow one. But yes, hopefully somebody's blessed with this and understands that as well. Okay. All right. Yeah. Light Brown R says, I have been there and gave time. I thought it was me. Where to find a therapist that fits you. Just like looking at the right shoe that fit the comfortable. My experience, my therapist was about money. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yep. Mr. Play said, got to do the shadow work. Practice with a coach and a team, cool, but you definitely got to get busy by yourself. That's it. Can't lie to you. El Sid said, I need a therapist who can really tussle with me mentally, and that's hard to find. That's real. Okay, that's real. You know, Mr. Don't Play said, I actually enjoy therapy first place. I felt I could be heard, and as naturally self-aware person, I also do the work on my own. Absolutely, Mr. Play. And I think that's maybe another point I didn't put there. Not every man is quintessentially self-aware. And I think a lot of men who go to therapy, a lot of us might choose it because we're self-aware. But those who are not self-aware, you're going to need to increase your self-awareness. So, yeah, I mean, therapy is a place where you'll get heard. I can't lie to you. And it feels good. Not to be challenged, I don't want to be fought. I just want you to keep asking questions to help me unlock my mind. Keep asking me questions to unlock my thoughts, unlock my emotions. That's all I want from you, okay? I don't want to be challenged, okay? I'm not here to be challenged. That's another situation. I'm here for you to hear me out. You know, that's what I'm essentially looking for. So absolutely true about that. That is a good place for men to be felt, heard, and to be seen, which I think a lot of men aren't. And that'll be episode 3 tomorrow, because being seen and not heard is a really powerful thing. Why men might feel that way, you know, being not seen and not heard is painful. And it definitely causes issues in relationships long term as well. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. All right. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe wherever you are. If you're in Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, we appreciate you guys joining us on this glorious conversation. We hope to see you guys again tomorrow for another exciting conversation. Much love, much appreciation as well. All right. Little black, you know what time it is.